This is Beyond the System, a podcast created by Charitable in Norfolk. We co-designed this podcast with Norwich Theatre and the Norfolk County Council Social Care Participation Team. We participate in a series of workshops to explore our individual creativity and to prepare us to share this part of our story that we hope will make a difference and make others feel less lonely. Each episode starts with a creative piece and then a conversation on the topic.
This episode is Community and Potential. We are joined by NC, RM and Lizzie.
Okay, everyone, this introduction's done now. Let's get going.
My piece is I believe that the future holds wonders. I believe that I am capable in different aspects of life. I believe that the world will become a better place for others, including myself. I believe that I have a lot of potential. I believe that everyone is capable in different aspects of life. I believe that everyone has a chance at getting where they want to be, but some disregard it. I believe that we are all capable of getting where we want to be. I believe that hard work shapes your future. I believe that some of us are disadvantaged, but it makes us stronger overall. I believe that everyone has potential that can be manipulated for the greater good. I believe that we can all be put to our limits and we either sink or float in different situations. I believe that I am capable of achieving a lot even though it's been a challenge. I believe that we get what we work for. I believe that karma will show true lights for people. I believe that everything will be okay in the end. I believe that although life is challenging, there is always a rainbow at the end of the storm. I believe that grey clouds hold weight like people, and sometimes it needs to be let go. I believe that the world is challenging. I believe that the world will be a better place. I believe that I have shaped the system to be a little bit better. And I believe that some people struggle. I believe that people need help when it's least expected. I often think that the world is very harsh in all of its natures, and we all face challenges and situations that are unpleasant, and we still are expected just to continue with our daily life. And I think it's so intimidating to go out into the world after something has happened to you and to crack on like nothing's happened. So I think it's so important to capture it and actually know that even though you face something challenging, there's still potential for the future. And I often use a lot of metaphors like sinking or floating or like clouds with weight. And I believe sometimes what human emotions are too complex to be captured in a simple sentence of how you feel. And sometimes you just need to express it in a different way. And that's why the belief and just looking forward to the future, it gives you a goal and aspirations if there's nothing to look forward to.
So it's evident that throughout your piece, there's a central theme that really shines through of potential. Potential is something that everyone can have in some capacity. How do you believe that young people can be better supported to have full access to the potential that they can have in life? And what would help them, you or people in your cohort, what would help them thrive?
Sometimes you genuinely just need that support that doesn't feel forced upon you, because like with PAs, social workers, therapists or anything, you know that it's a job for them, and so it's psychologically in your mind it's like they're just ticking boxes and like they're only just there just to be there for the sake of being there to work. And it's just having that space and surrounding yourself by the right people, because there's so many people that I've seen fall right through the cracks because they've decided to hang out with the wrong cohort. So I definitely do think that's a very important part of life, really.
There is no better resource to help you achieve your fullest potential than the people who you have around you. Whether it be the people you don't choose, your family, your guardians, your carers, your peers at school or in your workplace, or or it is the people that you have a bit more sort of, you have a bit more discretion to choose to be around you, your friends, stuff like that. They are often, and by choosing the right people, it can change everything, how how much you believe in yourself, how much other people tell you what capabilities you have. I think changes everything, because we as people love to sort of be negative when it comes to introspection. It's quite important to have people who care for our development, people who truly care for us, to tell us that actually, even in our most doubtful moments, that we are able to succeed.
I think I slightly agree with that, but also disagree with it, because although some of them may do it for a job, some people actually also do it because they really believe in it.
Of course.
So a big part for me was I went into a homeless hostel, and the workers there, of course, that was their job, but they never once gave up on me the entire time I was there, and they made me feel like I did belong there and didn't keep, like, a lot of places would have kicked me out by that point, because I kept doing things that would put all the others at risk, but also myself at risk. But after a while, they sort of, even though they probably should have done, they didn't, because they actually believed in me and my potential. So I think although some workers obviously are in it for just the job, I think a lot of them also aren't, and you can get quite lucky with that as well. A big thing for me, I have a little girl, one thing they used to use against me was I had no network. But you need to help me find that network, not just go, you've got no network. Help me get into groups, help me find people like me, sort of like now, find people that can support me, not just say, oh, you haven't got that.
Yeah.
Help us find the network.
That's what to get myself back on my 2 feet, because when I moved, I didn't move far from where I initially was, but to get myself back on 2 feet, I joined a club, like young people do, and I joined Army Cadets, and that got me into a different social network, no one that I would really interact with. And I think some people wouldn't have the drive to support themselves and take that step, so I think it should be at least slightly pushed, like not completely, don't bombard a young person, that's the last thing you want to do, but slightly pushed onto young people to just go, you know what, step out of that comfort zone, push those boundaries and just give it a shot. Because I mean, most places offer like tasters, and I think it's great to use the advantage of tasters.
I think there needs to be an emphasis on teaching empathy, and how to sort of deliver an empathetic environment to the young person that a PA or a social worker is helping. I think would make a massive change for how young people not only are helped by the system, but how they can sort of start to perceive it or reframe that it's not sort of a controlling force in their life, that it's a nurturing one that is constructive to their development. A lot of people, which I have seen sort of firsthand, a lot of young people begin to act out, begin to sort of take wayward paths because they inherently don't believe within themselves that they have the capacity or the facility to actually keep themselves on the straight and narrow.
If people start going down the wrong paths, you veer them off ASAP. Because otherwise they'll just continue going down that path, and often the people that are doing the best or that seem like they're doing normally are actually struggling the most because of how much of a facade they've worked on themselves. They can maintain it so much easier. So it's just being aware of the little changes. And often when you see like posters or whatever else about mental health or whatever, they go, yeah, they'll just become completely withdrawn or whatever else. But the signs are so much more intricate than that. And that's why it's so important to have such good friendships, because they can see those signs so much quicker, and they might even see it before you, which has taken me off guard quite a few times.
If they feel that they don't have the support and that they need and want, obviously that's going to give them more reason to go down the paths that obviously you guys have mentioned, because obviously if they're not getting the support and resources they need, they're going to seek it elsewhere.
People are probably the greatest key to unlocking the potential that we'll have as, you know, as people ourselves. We can have, you know, as many resources as we like and everything like that, but if there isn't that human element, that sort of connection that we have with someone who can offer us constructive, empathetic support, then how much difference will it make sort of beyond a superficial level? We all have lived experience of having begun to go down a wrong path. Whether we've, you know, spoken about it or not, we could probably all draw upon a memory where we might have made the wrong decision. And usually it's the people who care most for us that teach us that they care most for us, because they want us to also, I don't know if I'm mincing words here, but want us to develop accountability as well, to understand our own, you know, understand a sense of right and wrong, because we can be enabled by people who, you know, under a guise that they love or like us as much as they can. And that means that we kind of escape all accountability, but that doesn't help anything.
Social media, one of the worst things to be ever invented. It has brought young people down so much, and it's taught young people to think negatively of themselves. And I think it is so important. As much as the world is full of cruel people, there are good people out there, but it's just finding them and using them to benefit yourself and them, because a friendship goes both ways. It's like a seesaw. But at the end of the day, if the right young person has the right people around them to be supported and to achieve everything that they can, they will go far. And I think it is marvellous that young people have such wide and broad networks now, because that means that they have so much more available to unlock within themselves. And it's important for young people, when they do something wrong, to not ignore everything else that they've done, but also to take it actually like that they've done something wrong at the same time. And I find it so demoralizing when I do something wrong and then people instantly ignore everything that I've done and treat me as if that was the only moment in my life that matters. And I find it that often young people, when they make an error, it's simply either out of habit, they've been shown that it's okay when it's not. It's that they need that reassurance that one error doesn't shape you for the rest of your life, and or even a bunch of small errors will not shape you for the rest of your life. And people do have the potential to change. Young people, even though change can and is intimidating, young people can change. That's why high school is there, that's why sixth form is there, that's why university is there. But not even education. In life, people change. I went from having short hair to long hair, to short hair to long hair, and it's simple as that. But characteristics, personalities, maturity, everything changes in people as they develop and as they flourish into being adults and people and members of society. And I find it fascinating how some little comment that you will receive from a person can deteriorate that in seconds. And I think it's so important, linking back to my original theme of potential, of do not tell a young person that they are incapable of doing anything in life because of a couple of decisions that they have made. Reassure them that, okay, it's not okay, that whatever you said, whatever you did, it's not okay. But at the end of the day, you have the room and the capacity to change yourself, your morals, your being, anything you want to. But at the end of the day, you need to want to change for that change to happen. And as many of times that people will say to you, you need to want to change, and you just go, yeah, right, you're just saying that. You can't lead a horse to water, and you can, but you can't make it drink. And I think that's so important with change, because for a young person to get their potential, they need the role models and they need to want to change. And if they don't have the role models, or if they don't have the willingness to change, they won't change and they won't get out of those bad habits.
This podcast has been produced by Care Leavers in Norfolk, Norwich Theatre and Norfolk County Council. To find out more, please head to the Take Part pages on the Norwich Theatre website.